A list in Python is a variable, it's a data type that is used to store multiple elements within Python. So it is represented in this format within square brackets, and you can store any number of variables or any type of variables. Now in Python, many times we require to perform operations using list. So here we'll be looking at different ways in which we can iterate through the list, starting from the easier one. So method one we will use for loop. This is the easiest method. So for item in list, print the item. So when I run this program by pressing F5, you can see that it will give an output 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically what it tells is that for an item in the list, it's going to print the item. So what is this item? This item will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So for every item, it will print that particular item, right? So this is the easy way to iterate through this list. Now we'll go to method 2. Using loop and range function. So for this, for item in range of so let me comment this out, because yeah, so we can run only the second program. So let us see. Okay, name I is not defined stuff. Right. Okay, let me run this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let us split this code into simpler sections. So this len of list, it shows the length of the list, right? So what is the length of the list? It's an integer, which we know by counting it. So if we count this, there are 5 elements. So that is the length of this list. And the range function, basically the range function, what it does is it prints the numbers, integers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For whatever length we give, up to that it will print. So basically range of the length of list, basically it prints it basically it is data. This data contains a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what happens in the loop 1? In the loop 1 we will have item will be 0, right? And at the same time the list of item, we can write it as list of 0. So this is going to print, basically this is the first list. So it's going to print the first list item, which is 1. Similarly, let me write for loop 2 as well. In the loop 2, we have item is equal to 1. So this is going to, so this function is going to print in a list of item. Basically that means it is list of 1. So it's going to print the second item of this list, which is 2. So this is what happens in this code. Okay. Now let's take a look at the third method. This method is using while loop. So for this we have to first initialize a variable, that is I is equal to 0, and the condition is why I is less than the length of the list, right? So this is a condition we need to specify. While loop will run until a condition is satisfied. So until so once this I becomes greater than the length, this loop will basically stop. So when I is less than the length of the list, we want to print. So print, and what do we need to print? We need to print a list. We need to print a list each element. So So in the first loop I will be 0, right? Okay, in order to go to the second loop we need to put I plus equal to 1. So in the first loop I will be 0, and in this and it's going to print list of I. Basically that means list of 0, right? List of 0 means it will be the first element. And going to the second loop I will be incremented by 1, so I will be equal to 1 now. So it will be going to print a list of 1. List of 1 is the second element that it's going to print 2. So let me comment this, and then let's run this code. Yeah, here you can see 5 elements have been printed. So this is method 2. So let me comment this out. Let's try method 3, that is using list comprehension. This is an interesting method. So here what we are going to do, this is basically a one-line code which will do, you know, which will do everything. We don't need to write like 2 or 3 lines here. Basically single line will iterate over the list and print as well. So what you got to type is print of I for I in list. All right, let's run this code. So you can see it is going to basically it's basically the item, right? Item. Wait. Now let me run this. Yeah. So every item in this list is denoted by an item now, and this item is going to be printed. Basically this is going to loop itself for the length of this list. So this is the third method. So let me comment it out. So here we have used 4 methods to iterate through the list. One is by using a for loop, one is by using the range function and looping, and then third is by using a while loop, and fourth is by using the list comprehension. Personally, this method 4 is very useful. It makes the code more compact.